What if I told you that the billions of dollars major brands pour into social media are often fundamentally misdirected? A spectacular fireworks display with surprisingly little lasting impact. We were promised a golden age of branding, a direct, unfiltered line to customers. Yet for many global giants, the reality is a landscape of diminishing returns and a desperate scramble for genuine engagement. Consider this. McDonald's, a household name, sees its official YouTube channel massively outperformed by individual creators. Back in 2016, PewDiePie was 200 times more popular for a fraction of the cost. Fast forward to today, and creators like MrBeast boast over 400 million YouTube subscribers, a scale most corporate channels can only dream of, often achieved by connecting with audiences in ways brands struggle to replicate. Even Red Bull, often praised for its content, finds itself outpaced by creator-led channels that operate on shoestring budgets compared to Red Bull's multi-billion-dollar marketing spend. And Coca-Cola's ambitious digital magazine, Journey, designed to capture a disproportionate share of popular culture, barely made a ripple in online traffic, despite the company spending billions annually on advertising. This isn't just a few isolated incidents. It's a clear signal of a profound shift in how influence is built and wielded in the digital age. The core problem isn't a lack of effort or investment in so-called branded content. Brands initially believed that by producing Hollywood-level creative at internet speed, they could cultivate massive, engaged online communities. This strategy, however, largely overlooks a critical transformation: the rise of crowdculture. Marketers thought social media gave them control, but in reality, control has decisively shifted to audiences and the creators who intuitively understand the pulse of these platforms. In this landscape, it's the perceived authenticity of content generated by the crowd, for the crowd, that truly resonates, a trend amplified by the creator economy, which is projected to be a near $500 billion industry by 2027. This craving for genuineness is becoming even more critical as audiences grow wary of overly polished, potentially AI-generated media, seeking real human connection instead. So, what is this crowd culture that's rewriting the rules? It's culture organically created and propagated by digitally interconnected communities, passionately innovating and sharing ideas, effectively bypassing traditional media gatekeepers. So, social media has totally flipped this. Now these groups can connect, collaborate, and honestly achieve global influence with breathtaking speed. This really explains the explosive nature of TikTok trends, the ubiquity of meme culture, and, the flourishing of hyper-niche online communities where influence is cultivated and shared, often through creators who build deep, parasocial relationships with their followers. Crowd culture, well, it primarily manifests in two forms. First, there are amplified subcultures. Think of any niche passion, from artisanal coffee to vintage gaming, now united into, potent global communities. And then there are turbocharged art worlds, where artists, musicians, and creators collaborate online, forging new genres and entertainment forms at lightning speed. These vibrant, authentic art worlds are honestly a key reason why so much branded content feels flat. It's trying to compete with a relentless stream of fresh, relatable, and rapidly evolving entertainment produced by the crowd itself. Corporate brand bureaucracies, with all their layers of approval and slower pace, just can't match the agility and raw authenticity of crowd culture. So, if brands can't really outproduce crowd culture, how can they, engage in a meaningful way? Well, the answer lies in what's called cultural branding. Chipotle's rise from 2011 to 2013, well, it offers a pretty powerful example. They mapped the cultural orthodoxy of industrial food, which, by the way, was facing growing skepticism. Then, they located the cultural opportunity as critiques of fast food started going mainstream, especially with social media amplifying those voices. They targeted the crowd culture by championing the burgeoning pre-industrial food movement, and crucially, they diffused the new ideology with animated films like Back to the Start and The Scarecrow. These weren't just ads, they were, powerful myths that resonated deeply with the crowd's anxieties and aspirations, going viral because they tapped into a genuine cultural conversation. while Chipotle later faced significant food safety challenges that dented its image. Their initial success really underscores the power of this approach. And their recovery efforts also involved transparent communication and a recommitment to their core values to win back trust. Other brands like Dove, with its campaign for real beauty, Axe, and Old Spice, also found success by tapping into potent gender ideologies and their respective crowd cultures: body-positive feminism, lad culture, and hipster irony. Dove continues this legacy, now addressing AI's impact on beauty standards with its Keep Beauty Real initiative, while Axe has evolved its messaging to resonate with Gen Z's more open-minded views on attraction. More recently, brands like Liquid Death have built fiercely loyal followings by subverting industry norms with edgy, authentic, and humorous branding that champions sustainability. And Telfar has redefined luxury with its Not For You, For Everyone motto, championing inclusivity and affordability and using its community's own content to build its brand. However, cultural branding is not without risks. Authenticity is honestly paramount. Gen Z, in particular, has a declining trust in institutions and a sharp radar for insincerity, relying more on user-generated content and trusted creators. Misunderstanding cultural nuances or engaging in culture vulturing, superficially appropriating cultural elements without genuine understanding or respect, can lead to severe backlash and brand damage, as seen in campaigns by brands like Dolce & Gabbana, or even earlier missteps by Pepsi and Coca-Cola in new markets. The challenge is to genuinely connect, not just co-opt. The rise of AI and deepfakes further complicates this, making verifiable authenticity even more valuable. The path forward for brands in this complex digital age is clear. Stop shouting into the void with generic branded content. The true power lies within the vibrant, dynamic crowd cultures that shape our digital world. Victory isn't about outspending, it's about outculturing. It demands a shift towards listening, understanding, and authentically contributing to the conversations that matter to these communities. Brands must ask not how can we go viral, but what vital cultural conversation can we authentically join, support, and elevate. Those that answer this honestly are poised to thrive, potentially even moving towards models of co-creation and community ownership as Web3 technologies mature. Follow for much such content on brands, business, and technology.